The Married Woman's Property Act, Section 11. Fraudulent investment with money of husband. If any investment in any such deposit or annuity as aforesaid, or in any of the public stocks or funds of Great Britain or of this island, or in any other stocks or funds transferable as aforesaid, or in any debenture issued under any enactment of this island, or in any share stock debentures or debenture stocks of any corporation, company, or public body, municipal, commercial, or otherwise, or in any shares, debenture, benefit, right, or claims whatsoever, in or to upon the funds of any industrial, provident, friendly, or billing or loan society, shall have been made by a married woman by means of monies of her husband without his consent. So she invests money without her husband's money without his consent. The court may, upon an application under Section 16, order such investment and the dividends thereof, or any part thereof, to be transferred and paid respectively to the husband, and nothing in this act contained shall give validity as against creditors of the husband, or any gift by a husband to his wife, or any property which after such gift shall continue to be in the order and the possession or reputed ownership of the husband, or any deposit or other investment of monies of the husband made by or in the name of his wife in fraud of his creditors. But any monies so deposited or invested may be followed as if the act had not passed. So this you seem to be saying that if the wife takes the husband's money and invests it, the court will transfer the money back to the husband as well as any interest on that investment. Here now it says, nothing in this act shall give validity as against creditors of the husband. So, or any gift by the husband to the wife. Alright, so if other persons owe the husband, or if the husband had borrowed money from other persons or given a gift to the wife, those will not be considered. Or if he had used his wife's money, or use his money in the name of his wife in a fraudulent transaction, then that will not be considered here. That would be a separate matter. Section 12, repealed by Act 30 of 1995. Section 13, criminal proceedings by a married woman in respect of her property. Subsection 1. A married woman shall have the same remedies and redress by way of criminal proceedings for the protection and security of her own property as if she were a femme sole. That means as if she were single or divorced. Provided that no criminal proceedings shall be taken by any wife against her husband by virtue of this section while they are living together, as to or containing any property claimed by her, nor while they are living apart. So if he owes her money or some other property, and they are living together, she would not be able to sue him. That's probably what this is saying. Nor while they are living apart, as to or concerning any act done by the husband while they were living together concerning property claimed by the wife, unless such property had been wrongfully taken by the husband when leaving or deserting or about to leave or desert his wife. So if he took what belonged to her while he was leaving, or he was preparing to leave, then she can sue him for it. Subsection 2. In any criminal proceedings taken by virtue of this section, it shall be sufficient to allege that the property to which such proceeding relate is the property of the wife. Okay. Section 14. Wife's antenuptial debts and liabilities. So again, I read the definition for antenuptial. It would be agreements made before the marriage. A woman after her marriage shall continue to be liable for all debts contracted and all contracts entered into or wrongs committed by her before her marriage, including any sums for which she may be liable as a contributory either before or after she had been placed on the list of contributors under or by virtue of any law relating to joint stock companies, and she may be sued for any such debt and for any liability in damages or otherwise under any such contract or in respect of any such wrong. So if she owed money before she was married, after she is married, she still owes that money, and she cannot then demand that her husband, she cannot legally demand that her husband pay those debts. That seems to be what this is saying. Provided always that nothing in this act shall operate or increase or diminish the liability of any woman married before the 1st day of January 1887 for any debt, any such debt, contract, or wrong, as aforesaid, except as to any property to which she may become entitled by virtue of this act, except to any property to which she may become entitled by virtue of this act, and to which she would not have been entitled if this act had not been passed. Section 15. Acts of wife liable to criminal proceeding. A wife doing any act which respect to any property of her husband, which, if done by the husband with respect to the property of the wife, would make the husband liable to criminal proceeding by the wife under this act. That means, suppose the husband stole the wife's property and she could sue him. Now, if the wife stole the husband's property, let's see what happened here. Shall in like manner be liable to criminal proceedings by her husband. Okay, so this seems to be saying that she does not have a right to steal her husband's property. In any such criminal proceeding against a husband or a wife, as is authorized by this act, the husband and wife respectively shall be competent and admissible witnesses, and except when defendant compelled to give evidence. Section 16 was repealed by Act 4 of 2004. Section 17 repealed by Act 4 of 2004. Section 18. Married woman as an executrix or trustee. The meaning I found of executrix is a female executor of a will. As to the meaning of executor of a will, what I found is the executor of a will is the person you name to carry out your wishes after you pass. When you die with a legally valid will, a judge will approve the executor you've named in it to act on it. This could include paying outstanding debts with the money left from your estate, or distributing your money and property to your heirs, and more. As to the definition of trustee, what I found is this: an individual, person, or member of a board given control or powers of administration or property in trust with a legal obligation to administer it solely for the purpose specified. Alright? So, a trustee is a person or firm that holds and administers property or assets for the benefit of a third party. That's another definition here. Another definition: a natural or legal person to whom property is legally committed to be administered for the benefit of a beneficiary. Okay. Here now. A married woman who is an executrix or administratrix, alone or jointly with any other person or persons of the estate of any deceased person, or a trustee alone or jointly as aforesaid of property subject to any trust, may sue or be sued, and may transfer or join in transferring any such annuity or deposit as aforesaid. I said annuity. So, jointly as aforesaid. So, as a trustee alone or jointly as aforesaid of property subject to any trust, may be sued or be sued, and may transfer or join transferring any such annuity. I looked up the meaning of annuity. What I found is a fixed sum of money paid to someone each year, typically for the rest of their life. Alright? So, annuity, annual, yearly. Alright, or deposit as aforesaid, or any sum forming part of the public stock or funds of Great Britain or this island, or of any other stock or funds transferable as aforesaid, or any debentures issued under any enactment of this island, or any share, stock, debenture stock, or other benefit, right, claim, or other interest, or of or in such corporation, company, public body, or society, in this character, or in that character, without her husband, as if she were a femme sole, as if she were divorced or single. Alright. So she may act as an executrix or trustee without the consent of her husband, as if she were divorced or not married to him. Section 19, savings of existing settlement. And the power to make future settlements. Nothing in this act contained shall interfere with or affect any settlement or agreement for a settlement made to or to be made, whether before or after marriage, respecting the property of any married woman, or shall interfere with or render inoperative any restriction against anticipation of at present attached to the enjoyment of any property or income by a woman under any settlement agreement for settlement, will, or instrument, but no restriction against anticipation contained in any settlement or agreement for a settlement of a woman's property to be made or entered into by herself shall have any validity against debt contracted by her before marriage, and no settlement or agreement for a settlement shall have any greater force or validity against creditors of such woman than like settlement or agreement for a settlement made or entered into by a man would have against his creditors. So here it seems to be saying that this act will not interfere with a married woman's obligation to settle her debts, right? No settlement or agreement for such a settlement shall have any greater force against creditors for such woman than like settlement. Oh, so this also is saying that she is just as obligated to pay her debts just as a man would be obligated to pay his debt. So just because she is married doesn't mean that they should now come down on her harder to pay her debt, because they may expect now that she is in a better financial position to pay her debt. Just force her husband to give her money to pay the debt. So they should not do so with any greater force. Alright, section 20. Costs may be ordered to be paid out of property subject to restraint on anticipation. In any action or proceeding from or after the 20th day of June 1897, instituted by a woman or by a next friend on her behalf, the court before which such action or proceeding is pending shall have jurisdiction by judgment or order from time to time to order payment of the cost of the opposite party out of property which is subject to a restraint on anticipation, and may enforce such payment by the appointment of a receiver and the sale of the property or otherwise as may be just. Section 21. Will of married woman. Section 19 of the Wills Act, which provides that a will shall take effect as if it were executed immediately before the death of the testator, shall apply to the will of a married woman, whether she is or is not possessed of or entitled to any property at the time of making it. Shall apply to the will of a married woman, whether she is or is not possessed of or entitled to any property at the time of making it, and such will shall not require to be re-executed or republished after the death of her husband. Section 22. We will continue reading section 22 in a different video.